Hello everyone, this is Brian with Counselor, and thank you for joining us for the new feature summary for September 2018. Well, let's jump right into it here. So to start off, we've launched a new hearing aid sales detail report. You can access that by clicking on Business in the top menu bar and then selecting Hearing Aid Sales Detail. This is to complement the hearing aid sales summary that was previously available and obviously shows more summary data. This detail report will show obviously much more line item detail level information. So let's leave these filters open. You can change the date. Obviously, we'll leave it for the year. You can change the manufacturers or all. Let's just put that to all clinics, all staff, right? You can choose what you want there. Once I run this report, Council will break the hearing aid sales down into a few areas. First off, we just have hearing aid sales, not surprisingly, right? So it shows the individual line items. So here are the patients, when they purchased, if their delivery date was entered, if there was a return date, so if you had any returns, it would show there as well, and then the associated details related to that device. Okay, and and by the way, this could be downloaded as well. As we scroll down, we're then going to see the hearing aid returns. The exchanges, and the cancellations, of course, will be relative to that time frame. So for example, if we had searched for just August, and perhaps maybe here's example one was fit in June, it would just show up here if the return was within the specified date range. Okay, any one of these, of course, I mentioned can be downloaded. All right, so let's look back here. Cost of goods sold. So a couple things here. We've made the security feature on this much more intuitive and much more flexible. So basically, within the user list, you can go ahead and bring open a staff member. And within the security tab, you can say whether or not they are allowed to view or modify the cost of goods for an individual item that's sold. So that means when they're entering, creating an invoice, I apologize, and adding line items, can they see and edit the cost of goods? There's a variety of areas where that's visible and editable. So this depends on how specifically you want your staff, your team to interact with the cost of goods sold. It will, kind of going into the next one here, you can set your security settings very specifically, and that's because we've also enhanced the tracking features for cost of goods, meaning that you now can record and track the cost of goods for individual line items. So if at the line item level you've set hearing aid ABC as being $500, let's say, but maybe for individual line items, when you're adding to the invoice, you want to note that, hey, we need to add the shipping onto this one, so it's $520. Or maybe we bought in bulk and we got it for $475 or something. That's a number that's going to be contained internally, so it doesn't show up on the statement or purchase agreement or anything like that at all. It's just a number that's maintained internally for you. You can also enter the cost of goods as you're entering stock devices. If you do that, if you enter it for stock, that will then autofill on the invoice or on the line item itself as you're adding it. Of course, that can be modified as well, but typically that would stay as is. What's neat about that is once you have your cost of goods sold in place, then of course you can see the COGS and the net profit in a variety of places, different report generators and widget downloads. So it makes that data much more usable and of course much more accurate. There's another new option excuse me, for these units and sales widgets. Basically, if you would like let's say, for example, providers to be able to see their numbers, right, their sales and units, but not necessarily see everyone else's, as long as they are set to view only or greater access within the invoice security settings. Okay, so just looking back here, that's going to be this one here. So if they're view only or greater, then they will be able to see their own information, right? But there won't be any download capability. This is purely just they can see their own information and track that, right? If they have business reporting access, and that's going to be visible here off to the right, if they have business reporting access, then they would be able to see the data for all providers, right, and download that information. So it gives you another window or another opportunity for staff members to be able to see their own data, but not necessarily see the clinic-wide. Okay. The next thing here is commission settings. This is an area where you have a lot more flexibility in how you set your commission up. So first off, there's a new type. That's the net profit type. So that's the ability to basically just say, let's go into a line item list here, that maybe you want to shift. Let's pick just the first one on the list here. The commission section, I should mention, is collapsed now. The commission used to be in here, but now it has its own collapsible section. So when I open that up, I can choose for this specific device, do I want there a specified commission amount, a percent of the sales price, or do I want there to be a percentage of the net profit, right? So this is the type of thing, once you have those cogs in place, it enables you to, of course, calculate that number and then base your commission off of that. Now, with each one of these three, you also have the ability to set a commission threshold. So if you would like to say that if, for example, the specified amount, so this one, let's just say is $500, you set your threshold at $500. If it's less than $500 as the sale price, then someone gets $20. If it's equal to or greater than $500, then they get $40, let's say, right? So it lets you set a commission level. And you can do the same thing here for the percentage of sale as well as the net profit. So you can set a threshold and decide how much commission you're willing to give or want to give, both as a specified amount, either as a specified amount or a percentage of the sale price or of the net profit. Once you've made any changes, of course, you go ahead and click Save. That will update the profile for this specific line item, and later on, of course, you can go back in and change it as needed. Okay. Of course, if you need assistance with any of that, please let us know. We're happy to kind of talk you through that specifically. Okay. There's also option here within the patient summary pop-up. So let's go ahead and just bring open. And then within the patient profile, there, of course, is the patient summary pop-up. That's available on any screen where you're working with this patient, whether it be in a visit, an invoice, a claim, etc. You can always click on this option. Now it has the addition of showing any active policy, any active insurance policy with the details, and then you can click in if you want to zoom in into that policy profile. Okay, and then last but not least, we've also created an easier way to chat. So you may have noticed this already, or probably have already, or at least while I've been talking here. There is an option in the bottom right-hand corner of any screen that gives you the ability to fire up a chat. So by simply clicking on it, it will then start the chat feature for you. You can still access the chat under the help menu as well. We wanted to make this nice and easy, so on demand you can go ahead and start up a chat. So once again, thank you all very, very much for joining us for this overview. We love bringing these new features to you. Please keep the ideas coming and let us know if we can assist in any way.